Alright, so today's video, we're watching a Gold 5 DPS on PC. They say that they started off as Sombra because they feel she's my strongest hero right now, and I thought I did okay. But my team believes Sombra was not the pick, which is classic. I feel like a lot of people say Sombra's not the pick because they look at the damage numbers, and I talk about it all the time. Sombra will not have high damage. You'll have games where it can happen, but do not expect your Sombra to have the same damage as your Cassidy, who is shooting at a Mauga the whole time and does way more damage than you. Sombra is a lower damage hero that does a lot different than what you're supposed to do. I swapped to Bastion as I felt that my team wasn't capitalizing on the space I tried to create. And Bastion is a comfort pick too. Despite all of this, the tank insisted relentlessly that a Junkrat, Venture, or Mei are the only possible heroes that can help them stay alive longer in fights. How is a Junkrat or Venture gonna help them stay longer in fights? That doesn't even make any sense. But anyway, at the end, the tank even had the audacity to say in all chat that they had zero cooperation whatsoever from the DPS, and that we were only playing for kills and not to win. I know I have a lot of things to learn about positioning and such, but I feel like this game was a decent showing of my current ability and would appreciate any and all tips. I'm just, you know, listen, I can understand saying go Mei if, like, you have, like, a tank who needs help at, like, the front line, right? You can use a Mei wall. I get that. A little bit. To an extent. Not fully. But asking your teammates to go Junkrat or Venture to help you, that is a different story. Anyway, let's find out. We'll see how it goes. All right, your team's running Mercy Moira, and... Okay, here's the first problem, chat. The current healing comp for Amauga is not ideal. So, I just want to start that out by saying that. The sound is a bit scuffed, am I wrong? See, like, here's the problem. If you're on Junkrat right there, you're going to be able to save your Mauga from jumping into their whole team of 5. Like, that's where you got to go Junkrat.
Somebody call.
This is a cool skin. It's the weapon that I like. There we go. He just wants tire for cage fights, etc. I mean, I'll see.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Wow, that was a first point. That was quite possibly one of the best first points in Rialto I've ever seen. Now, one thing I want you to definitely focus on a little bit, and I think it's, like, I want you to try to look a little bit more just... Any support player will tell you one of the most annoying things to deal with is a Sombra who's constantly pressuring them, right? Constantly pressuring them. So, when you're not doing that, and that was a good job there, you're never forcing out cooldowns. So you're never going to be able to get follow-up limbs if you're not going for the support. Like, obviously, if, like, their Echo's out of position or their Genji's out of position, like, you got the limb, that's fine. But, like, you want to put a little bit more backline pressure on them. Like, you have... It's very time-based. There's times with Sombra where you're going to be, like, a bit, you know, you're going to feel like you're AFK. But, like, sometimes that also is a value that Sombra brings. As in, like right now, this is a good opportunity just to, like... I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. So far, you are that... Like, you're trying to, what, stop the cart there? What is the benefit you're gonna have when they're team wiping you? So you really need to try to find and put a little bit more value into, like, their backline. Straight up. Needs a nap? Thanks to 8 months of tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. And heck yeah. Match rank is gold. Like, that's a good hack. I'm okay with that. Obviously, they made a play, etc. But, like... Yeah. Yeah, I think your number one issue so far is you're not even... They're not even, like, protecting their backline, too. So this is one of those games where, like, as a Sombra, you could actually get a lot of value. But instead, you're either... You're standing there, and you're not doing anything. Or you're just going for the wrong targets. This EMP is very important. You got to get everybody you can get, like, right now. Perfect. Great EMP. Great EMP. Love it. Nothing wrong with that. Nice play. Nice play.
Feeling much better.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean EMP is I still think EMP is an S tier ultimate. One of the best. Wait, do we actually? Don't I have an ultimate tier list coming out soon? I just realized. Yeah, I just made one. It's not out as of this moment, but it should be out on my second channel very soon. Remember also, you're not Cassidy. You're not playing Cassidy. So, like, look at your playstyle sometimes, and I'll give you a little bit of, like, you know, you're making a play here, you're making a play there, etc. But, like, just remember that you also benefit from making their team have to turn around. Sometimes, believe it or not, some of the best plays in the game are some of the most minimal plays that you'll make, too. Like, just, oh, I got their Zarya to turn around for 2 seconds, and because of that, we were able to kill somebody else because their Zarya wasn't paying attention to somebody else who bubbled them, right? It's little things like that that really add up over time in these type of games as Sombra. So I very much recommend, like, finding ways to get more of that value as you're doing that. Because so far, it's a lot of just standing around playing like you're playing Cassidy and not doing any backline pressure. And you're probably going to hear that most of the game is what I think you're doing. I don't think going the hero as your tank mention would help your tank at all. But, yeah, that's good. Great. Yeah, that was a good angle. That was technically backline pressure. Wonderful play by you. That was a good play. You're right. Don't... listen. I want to give you something here, advice-wise. You just tunnel vision so hard. So sometimes, like, say you hack a target and you get them really low. It's okay if, like, they're out of range and become unkillable to look around. Because you had a Zarya with basically 1 HP right in front of you. And you completely ignored them. But this is the stuff I'm talking about, though. This is fine. I don't mind this. Like, this is what I mean. Backline pressure. You might die there because the Echo chased you. But, like, don't, like, take that play and think that you can't do that again, right? Sometimes you're going to make a play that is the correct play, and they're still going to be able to outplay you or make a play off of you, right? You're not always going to be able to get the perfect play. So, in that situation, I'm okay with that. I'm not saying it's the best play. You could have taken a better angle, etc. But, like, it's better than doing nothing sometimes. The AFK strat is something that you establish later on when you've already made them, like, have to worry about you for so long. You get what I'm saying? Remember, we had mentioned, like, sometimes, like, the AFK strat's great, but that is when you've already established that you're going to be, like, a threat to the other team. And right now, that team doesn't really feel that. This is better now, though. Your backline pressure has improved a ton. This is much better. See, the Moira's turning around. The Moira has to use Fade. Are you seeing what I'm saying? This is why I wanted to see you be more active at the beginning of the game. Because while they get you there, your team's already dead. I think that was a great play. Like, I really, really like that play. I agree. Disengages a little bit quickly. Oh, yeah, you know, chat does bring up a good point. Chat does bring up a good point, by the way, and I was kind of overlooking it a little bit because we were talking about, like, your space. A lot of Sombras would recommend, this is usually the, like, good Sombras will mention this, is try not to lead off with a hack sometimes. Lead off with, like, the virus combo, and then lead into a hack if you need to. You kind of lose, like, a lot of the time and you can get with that damage from virus and, like, just the burst you do can get them really quickly. So, I've heard a lot of really good Sombras mention that idea. You can still hack stuff, it's just, like, improve your timings. And so far, though, I feel like your number one issue on Sombra there was you were just not as active in the team fights, in my opinion. You didn't make the other team scared of there being a Sombra. And a lot of Sombra is doing that. All right, now you're on Bastion, though. Now it's a lot different. The other two teammates are just waiting to pick. Here we go. Just watching. First of all, you don't have a DPS player. I mean, a Moira who's picked right now. Excuse me. So your Moira didn't pick. Second of all, you mentioned your tank saying that, like, the DPS aren't cooperating in the help. I don't know what this tank is expecting with the way that they're playing. You know what I mean? We'll see, though. Thank you. I mean, hey, you got the Elim on the Diva? That's good. I guess I don't expect what your tank is looking for from the DPS. I mean, truthfully, what is it? And maybe this is... Here's how I see it right now, especially in the games that I'm playing. If you're a tank, what do you expect from your DPS to help you? Like, what is the one thing DPS can do to help you as a tank? Counter their tank? Honestly, just get Elims. Get kills. That's it. Like, yeah, you can go something that makes the other tank, like, yeah, you can go something to help against, like Diva or something. Just get in the limb, right? So I don't know why your tank's like, oh, my DPS wouldn't cooperate with me, when it's just like, go something that just get a limps. Put a lot of pressure on them. Like, that's why I was so surprised when, like, you said your tank was mad you didn't switch to Junkrat or Venture, because it's just like, what do you, as a tank, what do you need a Junkrat for to this? Obviously I'm a tank player, right? So it's like, what are you looking for your Junkrat to do for you to help you tank? Does that make sense? Mei is good for that, and keep in mind the Mei suggestion. Oh, 1 second here. The Mei suggestion that I put, I do think Mei brings a little bit of that utility for sure. But like right now with the way that their team is playing and the way that your tank is playing, I don't even know if Mei would be able to help with some of that, right? Does that make sense? Like if I'm watching like your tank get like collided on and like they're all kind of stacked and you can kind of separate them, I see that, but like, you know, it's not as, yeah, it's not as quite as like much as I could see it helping. I'll keep watching, and maybe I'm missing something on that one, so I do want to give that the time of day, but we'll see. Good play by, see, that's a good play by your tank. You said you just played this map as Venture, would really work well for taking space like an off tank? That's fair. So you're looking for more like space creation. But like, that's what Sombra can do. Like Sombra can take flanks and make space creation. Bastion is going to pressure their tanks a ton with your damage output. Like they can't play the same way. Does that make sense? Like a lot of things like that. You said no YouTube stream? No, because I have a sponsor stream today, so I just didn't want to like turn it on for like 2 hours. That's usually when I don't go live on YouTube. So normally I do, it's just one of those days. I hope that's making sense. I'm not saying you can't do things like utility-wise to help your tank. I'm just trying to see in this game specifically where your tank needs that help based off of the heroes they were asking for. You get what I'm saying? How do you deal with tanks who don't push up when you take off angles and make the enemy team turn? I can pause for a second on that one, because why not? I like hearing my own voice. Basically, a good summary of that is, that's why, you know, remember, I've given advice sometimes on that. Let me ask you this question. If you keep taking off angles and they make them turn around, but then they don't ever like take advantage of your off angle and you're not getting any value out of the off angle, what is the best next step there? Would you say? If like you're playing DPS, you're creating angles, but like it just isn't resulted in anything, what's your next best step? No, stop. No, you don't take harder off angles. You don't type aggressively in chat. We already know that's already happening. Just, you readjust your playstyle to work with how your team's playing. I always say, a good way to sometimes adjust in the game, and you'll hear me like talk about this when I'm playing in my top 500 games, is the quicker I can adjust to how my whole team is playing as a core, is the best way for me to be able to make those adjustments, right? So, if you're playing off angles and your teammates are never following up with you, and you're just constantly either getting killed or you're getting no value, maybe there's value to be had by playing with your team as a core, right? And then that is where it's obviously every single game it changes, right? Like every single game that's what's the beauty of Overwatch is, like every game can feel different, right? And before, well, what do you mean? I play against Orisa all day long. Was a different story. That's changed now. Orisa's nerfed. But like you have to make these adjustments, and especially when you're not stacked or you're like in a 5 stack or like with a 3 stack, even when you're doing that, you don't know how your teammates are going to play. You're going to usually get new teammates. You're not going to know how they play. So you have to make playstyle adjustments, right? For example, as a tank player, I like to be an aggressive tank player who also likes to peel back for the team. Like my strategy is aggressive with the ability to peel, right? Some tanks are purely aggressive. Some tanks are purely peel. Some tanks are statues, right? Different playstyles. So I just gave like, what, 5 different playstyles? So if you get 5 different tanks in a row, your playstyle may adjust each game, right? Because they're playing it differently. So what worked the previous game may not work the next game because the same type of space creation, the same type of peel, all of that isn't happening as much. So that's why I always give the suggestion of, if you can figure out a way to work with your team in a way that works with the playstyles you have, or get your teammates to commit to your playstyle, all of them, then that's where you'll find more success. Easier said than done, because getting everybody on the same page can be tough for even teams in OWCS. Sometimes it takes a while to get, you know, the right combination, to get the right, you know, the right type of scenario where everybody's on the same page, but that is where you start to get a lot better on that. That's why, like, my general advice for that initial question of I already forgot what you asked, is work on the pace of how your team is playing. Oh, it was the off-angle question. Okay, that's what it was. If it isn't working, go more at the pace of how your team's play style is. Sound good? I think Symmetra will receive any love this year. Well, I mean, it's May, so I think you got plenty of time. A good pick there. Good job. I'm watching your tank, too, to see what you can do at health-wise. You're doing a good job pressure damage-wise. Yeah. So far, so good across the board. I'm honest with you. So far, so good. When you play Sombra, you keep half the team busy with you, and your team would still find a way to lose the fight. Which means that, you know what, though? Like, that is where a playstyle adjustment could work. Maybe you go into their backline, get them to turn around, and then find a way to come back to your team and help them win. Because now you have a numbers advantage because they overcommit. Like, there's things you can do. It's not always going to work that way. It just... That's why I always try to make those, like, really quick in-game adjustments. And if you ever watch me play ranked, I generally will, like... You'll hear me be like, oh, I gotta readjust this today. I see what's happening. I need to readjust my playstyle. Because it's not working the way that I want to play it. Sometimes it might be too late. I might recognize it 7 minutes into a game. And at that point, like, you know, it's not going as well, and I need to figure something out with it, so. But so far, I mean, I actually liked your Bastion swap because I feel like their team hasn't adjusted to your new play style yet, and it's resulted in a good play by your team. Which is why it's a little bit confusing that they said that, like, you didn't, that you, like, your DPS weren't working with the tank. Because, like, the tank is doing their own thing. Like, look at what the tank just did right there while everybody in your team is peeling back. You see what I'm talking about? How everybody in your team is peeling back to get the free limbs. Your Orisa's going up there to give them free limbs. Actually ends up winning or getting the limb. But you see what I'm saying? How the other tank, it really comes down to, I can already tell, your tank has a different play style than the rest of your team. So automatically it must be somebody's fault. When in reality, it's just they need to slow down by 20%. Give your team an extra second to get everything going, and then go back in. You see what I'm saying? You have someone on your team who complained about damage numbers compared to the opponent. You were Sombra Tracer, they were Soldier Bastion. I mean, you'll never match that damage unless the other players are getting rolled. They'll always out-damage you no matter what. There's nothing you can do. Like, at that point, you can't do anything about that. Good job taking the high ground and getting them and clearing them out. In the meantime, look where your Orisa's at. You're low HP and your Orisa's pushing in. They're playing aggro. They're kind of by themselves. And that's what I mean by, like, playstyle adjustments, is that they're on a different page right now from your team, so they're trying to figure out what's going wrong, and they're just assuming that their DPS aren't doing much. Truthfully, you've gotten good picks. I'm not saying you're playing perfect, especially, I think your Bastion, you said it was a comfort pick too. Your Bastion has definitely been better than your Sombra, right? Right there, one thing that you can do is just regroup. Your team hasn't had a regroup opportunity yet. And that does start with the Orisa. The Orisa needs to recognize it's time to back up. Something I've been improving on a little bit is recognizing when it's just not worth staying in a team fight. And as a tank, I'm like, wait a second, I back up a lot sooner. Easier said than done. Sometimes I just want to hit buttons and smash my face against the keyboard, right? So. And now you're at the same pace. I'm not sure what their Moira's plan is 85% of the time. Yeah. And that's what's happening. Like your tank is going in while their Moira's fading back. If I see this as Orisa, what I'm usually doing, unless I don't recognize it, is falling back with the Moira limb, getting the limb, and then stacking back up, and then going back in, right? Not running into their team. And that's kind of what's happening. Because you can turn around and use your Javelin spin and prevent them from doing, like, the damage to your team, and then you go back in. Keep in mind, tank is obviously in a difficult spot at this current moment. Obviously, on May 14th, tank is going to be changing quite a bit. And you can get away with, you're probably going to be able to get away with more of those plays as a tank, but right now, it's like the tank hasn't adjusted to the tank yet. So, keep in mind, this is pre-Orisa nerf, too. For you saying the Orisa stuff, this is actually pre-Orisa nerf. So this is when Orisa's at their absolute strongest, which is, like, super strong. That's just an ult fight. Can't do anything about that. Now your team has all the ults. Yeah, this is strong Orisa, by the way. So that's why I love when, like, we know when a patch is coming, so we can actually prepare content like this way. Because sometimes, like, there'll be a patch out we won't know, and then boom, we lose all our we lose all of our codes, and we don't even know that, and we can't record some of the videos we would have liked to. So it's always good to know. Your team should win this. It's just you have so many ults that their team is over-ulted. They might even use Tree right now, which would be a terrible idea. Yeah. Saw that coming from a mile away. All right. That wasn't the right time to use tree. Because they're going to have a retake, or at the very worst, you can back up, pop the tree in the middle, and the tree will LOS block them, and that gives you more opportunity to survive and forces them to, like, delay, and then you buy time. Yeah, that was a great job on the Solar 76, I agree. What rank is this? This is gold. I think gold 5 or something like that, I think it was. I can't see right now because my Discord does this thing sometimes where it just completely goes, like, it stops working, and I don't know why. So I have to restart it. There you go. You got the point. You got the point. So far, tank's a bit too aggro. You're playing well on Bastion. Much better than you were playing on Sombra. Sombra needs a lot of work. Bastion's pretty good. For the most part, I saw some good things. Yeah, tank changes come in May 14th. Pretty major tank changes, in my opinion. Okay, now they're on Zarya. This is a great pick for you, by the way. Bastion against Zarya. Chat, if you're a Bastion against a Zarya, you're going to have a good time. Pending that. Zarya, you know how people tell you not to shoot bubbles? If you find a Zarya out of position, you can shoot those bubbles. Because they will fall over. Just so you know. They will fall over. Nice javelin. Good job by your tank. Play. Yep. Yep. Because people always go, well, Zarya's great against Bastion because you get energy. You could have 200 energy. You're going to get rolled. But Bastion can shred you like that. How does Zarya go flying? The javelin. The Rissa. Javelin him. Yep, you're doing the right play here. This is good. Nice. Good job. Actually, really good job of recognizing their Zarya's at a spot where you can't fully follow up and they weren't high enough energy to really have to look at them. That was well played by you right there. I like that a lot. Oh, another thing here. I think this is let me see this in a second here. Nice job there getting the limbs. You're playing well here. It's a good job. I do want to pause for a second because there's going to be a discussion here. Okay, you ready? I think this is a good one. If you go, hey, they have a Zarya. Why isn't the Orisa swapped yet? This Orisa pick right now is totally fine, just so you know. Like, you would not have to switch Orisa right here. And see, that's where, like, I always talk about where people get so, they concentrate so much on counter swaps and, like, what is good against the other tank that right now, this Orisa can stay Orisa, no problem. You have a Bastion who's with you there. You have an Ashe who's there. You have good opportunity to keep everybody alive. You do not have to worry about swapping off Orisa here, right? But a lot of people are always like, oh no, people always say to me like, oh, why aren't you going Zarya against Orisa? And I'm like, because there's so much more than just the Orisa. There's so much more than just the Orisa that you have to take everything into account with those heroes, right? So people be like, oh, well, go give it Orisa. And I'm like, yeah, but they have a Widow and like a Widow and a Sojourn. You know what's gonna happen? That Orisa has enough survivability that even if I'm having my best moment on Orisa or on Zarya, I will probably get rolled by one of those snipers. It's because you can shoot through the javelin spin. That's why people say go Zarya against Orisa, because you can't prevent the javelin spin, right? Well, I mean, I could also say go Winston, right? Because you can't prevent the left click. But like, I'm not going to do that a lot of time against Orisa. You know what I mean? It can work, but I'm not going to do that a lot of the time. Nice job, yeah. By the way, you had mentioned that Bastion's your comfort pick. And I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've seen in the limited amount of Bastion and Sombra I've seen, your Bastion is like night and day better than your Sombra. Your Sombra needs a lot of like more like being active in team fights and things like that. Alt stack. You're gonna get alt stacked here. If you lose this fight, it's okay. Just so you know. Good job getting the limb there. Your teammate should all here. Like, your Orisa should already have ulted in a second. Like, already ulted now. Like, your Orisa needs to ult. But that's what I mean. Like, your tank says the DPS aren't cooperating with you. Like, with them, and, like, it's on your DPS. Your Orisa had ult the whole time. Did not use it once. Did not use it at all. No disruption to their team. Doesn't make their team have to react. Didn't use their ult, and saved their ult for what? Nothing. Didn't say... Like, that is, like... That is where, like, when I hear that type of, like, scenario that's happening, it's just like, why? Like, I'm watching them not sit there and even use their ultimate. And that's a big problem there, right? Because that's such a huge ult. says Arissa wanted the perfect ult situation. You're serving. You know what the perfect ult situation is? Using it without using it. So you don't not use it. Out of position, Arissa. Your grenades on Bastion have been very good. Watching everything, hoping for the best. Watching everything, hoping for the best. That's your fault. That's your fault right there. I'm gonna be real with you. That was on you. You had plenty of time not to shoot into the Genji deflect, and you took full opportunity to do that. Good play getting out of there, though. Good recovery on that. Also, the Genji does... I do want to say one thing here, towards the end of the game here. The Genji... Like, the Genji echo against your Bastion definitely takes away a bit of the value of your hero. So, if you were thinking, like, do I need to swap in this situation? If you can find a hero that you think works for you here, I definitely would recommend that. Also, and that hero would not be Junkrat, and let me explain why. Those are two, like, really good counters against Junkrat, so... You're gonna go for an ult pretty quickly, I know it too. It's a good ult. I'll explain why that ended up being a good ult. Is because, hear me out. If you said to me, hey, if I Bastion ult, it would get out 3 ultimates, I would say do that every time. If your team doesn't stagger here, you should have a free EMP. Like you should. Ooh, maybe not actually. I don't know where your team's at in general. Cart. You gotta. Oh yeah, it's over. No one's even. And I'm not even gonna sit there and do the song because that's not really a song situation. That's just not understanding how far away the card is. So that was a rough ending though. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm gonna be real with you. If I'm gonna be honest with you here, I don't know what your tank was talking about when they wanted you to go Junkrat, Venture, or like May, because any of the heroes they were running for the most part, like you wouldn't have had much value to begin with there. I thought your Bastion was really good. Your Sombra, like the real talk about your Sombra is you have a lot of work to do when it comes to your play style. You need to be more active in fights, because the more active you are in fights, the later you can go into a more passive play style because they're going to be so worried about you, right? So when you're playing Sombra, I really want to see you be more active in team fights. I want you to start leading off with Virus more rather than Hack. And then you can start to slow down your play if they start to overcommit to your Sombra, because then that means you're playing Sombra right. But you spend a lot of the time not really distracting them. And your Bastion was clearly better in that situation. So if you're trying to work on your Sombra, that's my suggestion. If not, it wasn't a bad game, and I don't know what your tank was talking about. I just don't. Maybe I'm seeing it differently, but I don't know where you get that value from. It sounds like one of those classic games where a player just was like, no, it's my teammate's fault. I'm now going to focus on, let's see. Oh, yep, it's my DPS, and that's what they went with. You were playing fine. That's all I got. I don't know where the tank kind of saw that, and that's just how I see it. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. If you want to submit your own Spectating, look in the description below. You'll see my Discord. That's where you do that. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat right there below the webcam. So stop by if you haven't. Also, make sure to leave a comment, all that. It's a lot of fun. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day/night.